Early one morning as I was about to pray, it dawned on me that I was about to pray about the same thing as before. Yet it was worth it, because I found comfort in just being in God's presence. I then found myself telling the Lord that, yes, I wanted more answers to my prayers and more insight about what I believed He had already shown me, but getting more answers didn't matter as much as being with Him. The phrase, chasing God's tail, came to mind around the time I said this, and I saw this image in my head of my two daughters chasing God's tail. In this image, God was like a flying lion, and they were hot in pursuit. Yet, they were getting lost in the thrill of chasing Him, almost forgetting what they had set out to ask Him in the first place. In the Gospel of John, John the Baptist publicly endorses Jesus. In verse 38 of chapter 1, we see Jesus' response to being followed by two of John's now former disciples. Jesus looked around and saw them following. "What do you want?" He asked them. They replied, "Rabbi," which means teacher. "Where are you staying?" "Come and see," He said. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they went with Him to the place where He was staying, and they remained with Him the rest of the day. Jesus didn't ignore them. They were curiously in pursuit of Him, and He turned around and engaged them. They sought an answer, but got more than that. They found a bond, a personable connection, in fact, the best one to have. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The same personable God, then, is the same one today. James writes, "Come close to God, and God will come close to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, purify your hearts, for your loyalty is divided between God and the world." And God, speaking to Israel through Jeremiah the prophet, said, "If you look for me wholeheartedly, you will find me." I believe wholehearted, undivided pursuit happens when being with Jesus in the quiet becomes far more valuable to us than what we can get from Him, when the answer doesn't matter as much as spending time with the one speaking the words. Ironically enough, shortly after that morning I received my answer, and the conversation with Him still continues. Through His Spirit, we have access to get close to Him and to hear Him clearly. Prayer, praise, fasting, repentance, clearing out the clutter and distractions that get in our way of hearing Jesus clearly. Or, as I like to think of it, getting away from trying to listen to God next to the train tracks. It may at many times feel like we're chasing our tails, or really, chasing God's tail, seeking God while receiving only a few answers or seeing little change in ourselves or our circumstances. But in the end, it's worth it. Sometimes it's as if God gets quiet to see where our motives are. If He never opens the door, it was worth falling asleep at the doorstep. If He never says another word, He was still good company along the way. And as for my daughters in this illustration, well, their adventure continues.